Is it started out? Al says we're started and that we're live. So I can't see when we turned this on the other day, I could see over here the right of my computer screen that we had people signed on. And so now I don't see that. I don't see anybody's on. Keep talking now. That's what you want me to do, is keep talking. I'll say hello. My name's Dale Danker. I'm the president of TWU Local 514 here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're going to try this live question and answer stream on YouTube. And the unfortunate part about this is, folks, it doesn't look anything like it did the other day when we tried it. So that's awesome. But be that as it may, Al is here, right here. And we're going to get this thing started. I just won't be able to see anybody's chats. So I'll rely on Marla. I think we have here tonight participating. We have Linda, Chairwoman Linda Deals, Chairwoman over Material Logistics Specialist here in Tulsa. We have Terry Buck, and Terry handles a lot of our benefits questions and issues. We've got Gene Chapin. I'm writing these down as we go along. Gene Chapin's over 5 and 6, officer assigned to that area, but they all cover everywhere. But Gene's here if you need to ask anything specific of him. Joe Brown here as well. Joe's typically assigned to hangars 1, 2, and 3 and covers a lot as well. Marla is here, Marla Johnson, and Al Ball. And if we have other officers that tuned in that aren't here at the office, I don't know about it, but it wasn't something that I said I was going to make mandatory. If they wanted to participate, we would try to get this thing out and going. So tried to have it where it was on your lunchtime, so you don't have management come by and jumping you about getting back to work. So a lot of folks can't come or choose not to come to membership meetings, so they'll turn around and say, hey, we never see you on the floor. We'd like to see you on the floor more often. And I think I mentioned Terry. Terry Buck's here and covers a lot of the benefit stuff. So Darren Morgan is here, I'm told. Al's shaking his head, don't know. So apparently I'm not going to be able to see the live chats coming. So I will have to rely on Marla. You feed me questions if they come up. So they may not. Do y'all see the participants on yours?
I have, yes, 52 right now.
Wow, 52.
Minimize the screen.
Huh?
You don't put it on full screen. I don't know what you did.
I don't know either, Al. Come here.
You can keep talking, Dale.
He can keep talking, Dale. Marla said we have 52 folks signed up.
56 now.
56. So wanted to cover a few things up front. One, which is new, is I just recently got off today the phone with the new VP of the base maintenance here at the company. And since it's a live public YouTube, I will probably stay away from people's names. I will probably stay away from the company's name. You know, once you've been listed on a federal lawsuit, you try to do things to minimize the ability for them to put you on another one. So if you want to type in a name or something that we need to do, I get it, but I'm probably not going to use a whole lot of folks' names on this. All right. So I spoke with Greg, the VP of the company, base maintenance, for a little while today, and he's 60 some days into his job, I think he told me. And I'd mentioned that we were going to do this live feed, and he said, hey, if any questions come up, Dale, that I could help you with, please feel free to shoot me a text or something, and maybe we could get some answers. I do know that there's a lot of work out there, and I do know that we are not turning airplanes at the point to where they need to be at. So he is working with his directors to try. Al, can you shut that door and turn the air conditioner way down, please? I know that he is starting to get an idea of what this place looks like and what processes are in place. And he, I think, will soon be asking his directors and teams to go implement his plan. So he is going to come into town in a couple of weeks, have some meetings with the e-board. I'll be in Vegas on a business trip with the International Union, so I won't be available, but hopefully you'll start seeing him. I think he's going to plan some, thank you, Al. He's going to plan some town halls, kind of get started back where he can get in front of everybody and start getting feedback from the floor. So I think that'll benefit everyone. So I know that we have lots of things to talk about. There's the NMB decision that we're all waiting on. Is there going to be a vote? Is there not going to be a vote? We all know that the association has issues, but what you may not know is how they impact you and your daily walk out there on the base. So one thing that I've noticed in this position is the processes we used to have and the processes we have now with this new contract. As an example, got my ass chewed out by a guy that thinks that this local union has the ability to take something in front of an arbitrator, in front of a neutral. We do not have that ability anymore. The process now is through the grievance process. You have a verbal with your supervisor, your first step it, your second step it. I take it to a thing called the grievance review board, which they're scheduled now every other month for the rest of the year. I'll take cases, and when it's 514's turn, I'll present those cases to the company, and they'll render a decision in 14 days. And then this board and I will have a conversation after we read that decision, and then we will determine, we send them forward on to the association, and leaders of the association make a decision whether or not they put that case on or not. So going to arbitration on something other than, say, a termination is out of our reach right now. Like it or don't like it, that's the situation. There will be no local that takes a grievance forward to an arbitration and gets bad language that the rest of us have to live with. So if you look at it from that aspect, it can be a good thing. But most typically we don't look at it from that aspect. We look at it as like, what do you mean you can't take this case to arbitration? This is a slam dunk. Well, if you can't convince the leaders of the union that it's a slam dunk and that it's correct, it's not going. Other issues I've got written down here in front of me. May rebid. So we all are on past July 5th, and they instituted a Tuesday, Wednesday off pattern in AO. And I'm told that when we get to September, they're just going to roll with the same decisions that they made. So whether it be in CRO, Aero, AO, the MLS, the facilities, I'm told by the MD of the base here that their decision is they're just going to continue to move right through September with the same plan, and we'll head off into the next one will be January. So might be some folks that might want to ask some questions about that. I want to touch on facilities and MLS a little bit. Like I said, our chairman of facility is he is on vacation with his family, but MLS, Linda Dill, is here. And if you got a question for her, we can sure throw her in front of the camera and have her try to answer it or answer it from the side. But in facilities, we have issues, and I talked to the VP about this, even though that he may not be directly over the facilities. Obviously, how well your dock or your shop or, how well the structure of this facility is impacts your ability to do your job. And so in facilities, what we have is okay. Marta's feeding me questions here. Thank you, Marta. Just line them up here and I'll get to them. So in facilities, what we have is skilled trades. And in Oklahoma, a handful of those trades, you have to have a state license. And then some of the trades, you don't have to be licensed. And what we're running into is the company here locally taking a position that only the trades that have to have a license are the ones that are considered skilled, and everybody else can just be in this bucket of anybody can do anybody else's job. That's clearly not how negotiations, conversations took place. And so if you're one of our members in facilities maintenance and you're getting impacted by that, just know that we've reached out to our international, Tony McCoy, and we've on a few emails copied in some of the leaders in facilities maintenance that do not reside in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we are trying to all get on the same page as that. Next, MLS. Now, Linda could probably sit here just like I am, and she could talk hours and hours about issues within MLS and how this contract is handled. But the main one that we're trying to get an immediate answer on is when you are an MLS, I like to use my hands if I can get them to line up here. Where does the planner job go past an MLS job on order and parts, or does the maintenance planners and the, gosh dang it, what's the other planners, Linda? Material. Thank you, Marta. Because they're called lots of different names, not bad names, but just lots of different ways to describe them. So does a planner's job go right here and stop, and the MLS job picks up on the ordering and movement of parts? Or does the planner's job can go past where an MLS, and an MLS could come up into what is perceived to be a planner's job? We're trying to get an understanding through the GRB process and through, is it Ryan Duft? I try not to say names, but he seems like a guy that's willing to try to help us get answers. So I spoke with one of the leaders of the MLS, and he understands the question, and so we're going to try to get that resolved. And once I ask him if we could get that resolved to help get that information out to the planners and the MLS, so we understand what everybody's function is, and then we can try to at least limit the aggravation and the constant need to file grievances. If we get an answer, we should be able to go implement that and have it be on the base and not be such a frustration. Got a question here from Mr. Gardner. Are we going to file a presidential grievance for the crews that have no crew chief on Tuesday, Wednesday off? James, here's what I think the company's position is. and we'll have to have conversation about it. So you have, I believe, a crew ought to have a crew chief. The company's position is we ought to have a crew chief with 16 people, no more than. If you're at the base, when you get to 4, you got to have a crew chief. Line, when you get to 3, you got to have a crew chief. So we are above my pay grade. We are trying to get that answer to that question. You have a crew, you ought to have a crew chief. Then you get into the real driver of why all this chaos is going on. The real driver is overtime, known outage. The company, in my opinion, on several things is trying to do an end around on overtime. Remember, what did we used to have? We had bid areas. Remember when bid areas came in? That was 2 or 3 managing directors ago. So we had bid areas, and the concept was, well, let's make this gigantic big bid area, or business unit. I apologize, business unit. Let's have this big business unit, and we'll have all these scheduled airplanes. And then if the company needs to bring some unscheduled airplanes in to have them worked on, we'll just shuffle people around without having to put 7 days notice, without paperwork, without the rules of the contract book. We can just forego those rules, and we'll just give you a job assignment and put you over there. So that was a business decision that has now gotten us to where we're at today. We're in bid areas with locations. And what do they want to do? They wanted to take away lots of locations and just say, we don't have to have several locations. We just want to have a bid area. And oh, by the way, that happens to be your location. And we will give you a job assignment, and that's where you'll go. And then they wanted to start having multiple crew chiefs in a bucket. And I've put on that case. I believe the answer the company gave out of the GRB is in my email, which I haven't had time to get into it today. But James, I'm going to say on the surface, are we going to file a presidential grievance for crews that have no crew chief? I'm going to say the answer to that should be yes. I need to understand all the details of it, but a crew should have a designated crew chief. There's lots of details behind it. Here's another question. Jay Potter, does our current component headcount currently meet CBA minimum of 20%? So in the contract book, I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to show it to you. It's within reach. In the M&R contract book under scope, Article 6, it talks about job protection, what it means. So we have 2,600 minimum headcount for AO and back shop, supporting back shops to AO. Then we have some back shops that support the field operation. They don't necessarily overhaul parts that come off the airplanes in the hangar. They overhaul parts that come in from parts that's been pulled in the field. They come to Tulsa. We overhaul them out through the warehouse. They go and back. So we have, out of the headcount of AO and the support shops, 20% of that headcount will be doing work in the back shops. And when I asked that question in last week's comms meeting with the managing director and all the directors here at the base and the head lady that is over headcount allocation, I asked her that question, and she said, Dale, we run that math all the time, and right now we're actually currently over the minimum. And I asked, could I get that report? and they said they would send that to me, and I haven't. I don't think I've actually seen it yet, but that was last week that they said that we were over. My opinion is that we ought to have someone on our side be able to do an audit to that. The book talks about, the book, I think in Article 6, Jay, you probably know, somewhere in this book, it says right here, page 14, Article 6, a review committee under paragraph Y, a review committee consisting of an equal number of company and association representatives with a maximum of 4 members each shall meet at least quarterly for the purpose of discussing the company's current practice and future plan for contracting aircraft, GSE, and facilities maintenance work. That would be a good opportunity if we'd ever do that, to have any discussions associated with the monthly report that I get from the head of HR down in Dallas. I get a report that has numbers and aircraft and how many man hours were worked. So they tell me that we're over, Jay, but we haven't done the math to verify it. Just sit them there. Thank you, Terry. All right. Got another question here.
I answered it. Are you talking about the overtime 7.5 hours?
Hangar 6 question.
Oh, the Hangar 6 is this one.
What does this first part say? Cooling what?
Cooling tower.
I'm sorry. Huh?
Sorry, cooling tower on Hangar 6.
Okay, cooling tower job on Hangar 6. So how come no electrician?
Overlooking.
Yeah, why is no electrician overlooking the job?
Okay, yeah, so I don't know. I'm not for sure about that one. So I'm gonna take that one and set it here. That's one that we're gonna have to look into. It says probably to talk to Travis, yes. So I won't be able to answer some of them. That's a good question, and we'll go try to find that answer out. That's from, is it Danielle Bolin? Did it already scroll past and you can't see it?
Yes, it's Daniel.
Okay. Daniel will try to get an answer to that. I don't know. All right. Here's one. What is the union's position and the company's position on picking up hours and shift swap? Can't read it all. Hours totaling. Is that, Marta, did you write that one?
Oh, I read all the scribble.
Can you clarify? You said I answered. The company
Well, what
will,
I answered was, the company will not double pay on an overlap, and it's
Right.
an overlap.
yeah.
And
So
that's where the 7.5 hours comes from.
yeah. So if you take a swap, make sure I understand the question, right? Take a swap or you take overtime. In any situation where there's an overlapping shift, you can't double dip. Is that generally the question?
So typically, and I'm not going to say everywhere, but typically all shops have an overlap, the
Yeah.
turnover. And they're not going to double pay you because you get your lunch on each shift.
Yeah, and that happens on overtime and swap, right?
Yes.
So if you're in an overlap situation, they're not going to double pay you. Should you be filing grievances every day for known outage? That's from Jimmy, right, Gardner?
Yes.
James, known outage for basics and known outage for inspectors, I believe that we have an answer for that. Known outage for crew chiefs, we're close to having an answer for it. But I'm going to say that if there was ever a settlement for any known outages for crew chiefs, and you don't have a grievance filed, you for sure will be out. So the safe play is to file grievances for the known outage and let those above my pay grade on the union side try to resolve it. Anybody have any other questions immediately? So I'll just go into,
I'm answering some that are simple. I can go over them if you want to.
Yeah.
People are asking about if we're bidding for jobs or bid areas. No, we do bid areas. Once you're in that bid area, then you, by seniority, can bid the locations within that bid area.
yep. So Al, does everybody get to see the ones that they're answering? They're all, everybody that's on. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so they did change. If you've recently tried to bid an open position in Tulsa, you had to put your name on what would be called the transfer list because they did away with shops. And so you'd put your name on the transfer list, and then because it was a manual process, someone from the company would call and say, well, what job did you want to bid for? We've got 20 jobs open in Tulsa in, say, the M&R field, or M&R and MLS and facilities. Which ones are you wanting to bid for? And then they would take your answer from that phone call, or possibly they're emailing you, but I was told phone call, and they're going to put your seniority with the pecking order of the bid process, and they'll line you up and they'll determine if you was to, if you was awarded the bid or not. And so now they've changed this ATAB system to say that if now you want to bid a job in Tulsa, it's by specific bid area. So if there was an opening in hangar 5 and 6, it would go out to the system, and maybe Marla or Terry sitting here has already looked at it. I'm told it's going to say Tulsa, Oklahoma, hangar 5 and 6 bid area. Once you go into that bid area, if you are awarded that and you go into that bid area, once you're into that bid area, then you use your seniority in the bid process to pick your location, if there is several locations. My goal is to have more locations to provide more stability and more consistency. Mr. Hightower, in facilities maintenance required by state and the company to have license for plumber, why do we not get license pay? We used to. I think during the true up of 2016, and I can go, I'm trying to barely scratch my brain and remember this. If Travis was here, he would remember it. So the why is, in our true up in 2016 with pay, we got a big pay raise. I think they peanut buttered that license thing and baked it into your base pay. But I'm not going to say that's a definitive answer. I think I remember that's how it went. And there was also some hazard pay, and there was the company offered something, and the union jumped on it because it was it gave more people more money. And so I'm going to put Mr. Hightower's in facilities maintenance required by state and the company to have license for plumbers. Why do we not get license pay? We used to. I'm going to put that one over here. I want to give that one a better answer. So putting that over here in this pile. I don't have any more sitting here. Marta, do you have any others that you're answering that I could talk about?
Well, I have Daniel Bowen again. ORD, DFW, Miami, LAX is outsourcing non-core work for facility maintenance. So is this something that we here in Tulsa should worry about?
Well, what did they call it? That's the question. Non-core, right?
Non-core, yes.
So the word non-core, what does non-core work mean? They have a lot to worry about out there, but we have a lot to worry about here as well. So I would say, yes, let's worry about it, because the company wants to do away with the paint skill and the carpenter skill. This base needs a lot of work, and we have 300 plus facilities maintenance guys and gals, and the big jobs, I don't know that we can, we're going to be starting to see the tarmac tore up and concrete poured. There's roof jobs on every one of those buildings over there, roof work that needs done. So what's core and what's non-core? I don't know that that word exists in our contract book. So the company may be trying to reach for something that they didn't gain in negotiations, and they may be trying to gain it now. And like I said, used the word earlier, doing the end around. So it's just another interpretation of the contract that we'll go fight. And I believe the conversations I've had with our international, the TWU International, I believe that we'll be taking that head on. So yeah, let's worry about what core and non-core work mean. I believe we have skilled workers in certain lanes. I believe that traditionally you ought to just stay in your lane and do your skill specific work. We shouldn't have, in my opinion, painters performing millwright work or carpenters doing plumbing work. We should stay traditionally in your lane. And if I'm a plumber and I need help, there's no one to help me, I could ask my crew chief. If somebody not busy, shouldn't matter what trade they're in, I need help, I should be able to go get help for the day if they don't have work to perform in their skilled trade. So we do have to worry about it. Yep.
Can we get the company to send back our high value parts from the MROs? It is causing days of delays on hot driver jobs and contributing to missing ETRs.
So the question was, can we get the company to what?
Send back our high value parts from the MROs.
What do you think that means?
Outsource.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. Sean, can you go into detail what you're calling high value parts?
Yeah, so maybe he's going to answer that or chime back in. So yeah, we are missing some of our return to service dates. There's lots of reasons why. I spent an hour and a half on the phone today talking with the VP about some of those reasons. You can go everything from parts not available to morale. So we talked in depth about all of it, and I believe I'm thankful he's going to start doing town halls, and everybody will hopefully come and participate and give input. Don't be afraid to stand up and talk and give your opinion, because somewhere amongst all of us, we have the solution already here. We got to sort it out. I gave him my opinions. I won't share them here, but we got to get everybody pulling in the same direction. That's for sure. And maybe having parts that we don't need. And I mean, they're always going to use the MROs to outsource what doesn't make sense business wise here for us to do. But we damn sure don't want our core work, like 737s used to be MD-80s. We need to stay good at the things that we're good at and learn to improve on those things, and try to be an area where the company will always look first to bring work. Any other questions, Mara?
Terry Lesburn, do you have to have an A&P license to be a crew chief for machinists, welders, and platers?
Machinist, welders. Terry asked a question. So in the book here, this copy of this book, what do you got there, Terry? Machinist. It says valid A&P. Metal spray.
Revision, correct?
Yeah, and weld. Valid A&P. And what was the other one? Plater. Where's that at on here? Is it the next page? Plant crew chief cleaner. Go see if you can find where the plater's at in that book. That question came up, Terry, a lot and often, and it was a hot topic. And my opinion was this membership voted on this version of the contract. And if we're going to vote, or if we're going to change what we voted on, right, wrong, or indifferent, why wouldn't we run that back for a vote? But they went down and they did a review. I wasn't there. I was probably invited, or maybe it was just the two chair of the rep committee. I don't recall. But I do recall getting a phone call and giving my opinion. And my opinion is not to really to harm anyone or to help anyone individually. I just simply believe that if you're going to ask this membership to vote on a contract and give them a copy of it and give them an opportunity to review it, and then have them vote on it, why in the hell should you go back and change some of the words in it without having another vote to change it or not change it? But they said it was a typo. They said it was a cut, copy, and paste when they're doing contract language, and they just put this language of A&P, a valid A&P requirement. They peanut buttered it on everybody. They say they know where they made the mistake. And the copy of the book that I have says valid A&P, but it is not required in to be a machinist, crew chief, or plater, I believe. And I sure would like to find the plater. Or in the weld shop. Yeah, here it is. Terry's just, I don't know what Terry's got. Plating never had it. I'm reading it now. So in this book.
Terry wants to know whether you're on can the company waive the license?
Company waive what? License for what?
A&P license for welder machinists and platers, crew chief.
Can the company waive it?
That's what he just asked.
Well, Terry, I mean, I don't know that they need to waive it.
That's the revision. So there's no.
So here's the Terry went and he got the revision and brought it in to me. So in plating in this book, it actually wasn't in there. It was just in for weld and machine. So if I'm looking at this correctly, must be qualified for a machine shop, must be qualified in basic classification, have 1 year experience as a company, mechanic, machine shop. Nope, that's tech crew chief, tech crew chief, tech crew chief. You give me tech crew chief.
That's last crew chief.
Oh, okay. I need to learn how to read. He said slash in here. This book is not slashed. Machine shop must be qualified in basic classification, have 1 year experience as a company mechanic, machine shop. Crew chief AMT metal spray must be qualified in basic classification, have 1 year experience as a company mechanic, metal spray. Plating shop crew chief must be qualified in basic classification, have 1 year experience as a company mechanic in the plating shop. Weld shop, that's tech. Yep, tech slash. Must be qualified basic classification, have 1 year experience, company mechanic, weld shop. So A&P has been dropped, and the reason was that they said it was never intended. It was cut, copy, and paste problem when they were doing the contract. Did that answer Terry's question? Because he said, okay, Terry. I hope I answered it, Terry. If not, chime back in. I got some other questions here.
Yes, he said yes, that answered.
Okay, thanks. You're welcome, bud. I'm going to read this so before I chime in. Okay, I got you. This is back to the parts.
Yeah, he's listing. So him and Jimmy Sashta has chimed in also. MROs are sitting on LRUs and making inventory pre-pulls, causing shortages, making the shops and hangars look worse than they really are performing. Really not a question, just a statement.
Yeah. What does sitting in NC mean?
North Carolina.
Okay.
I would assume that's
Okay.
just what it said.
Okay.
Capital N, capital C. So
Yeah.
I would assume that's
Okay.
North Carolina.
Has the rich. Okay. I can't speak to that. I'm gonna put it in the pile that I need to go educate myself on. So thank you. Ryan Woody, has the relationship between the union and the new base manager improved? So that'd be me, maybe. I don't know. Yes. When the MD came here in January on the heels of the old MD leaving, it was, in my opinion, an abrupt change in managing styles, and there was a couple of a month or two there that I did not think that my skills and ability to work with the 4 previous ones, take all of that experience that I've had by you guys elected me and given me the chance to be your voice, take all those skills that I developed and I ran into a brick wall. Like, none of that stuff is going to help me with this new managing director. So been some videos that I did not ever think that I was going to have to make to try to get my voice heard by those on the floor to say, hey, it's the old concept of there's a new sheriff in town and it's my way or the highway type of attitude that I felt like we were getting. And here, with all of our problems on trying to flow aircraft on time, here with this contract that's a year old or damn near a year old, here with it, and we still don't have answers on interpretation of things. We still have that vacation that's very difficult to get approved, and it's a huge change. Here with all that, and now I run into a brick wall and butt heads with this guy over how he was just going to change the way that the bids were going to be handled. But I could probably talk this whole time on those. But Ryan, it has definitely improved. I am able to reach out to this gentleman and come to him with concerns, and he is able to give me immediate relief for those of you on the floor out there that need it. And I know that he right away mentioned that he would love to sit down with this board and work on grievances, past, present. He didn't care. He would have his team get in a room and we would be able to talk and get our case in front of them and try to hammer out a decision. I know that Kendall's probably home resting right now. His ears are probably tired. He spent a portion of the day today working on grievances, local grievances. So I would say that we're in a better position working with this man than we were the first 2 or 3 months. Any other questions, Marla?
Yeah, and Sasha wanted to know when will the changes to the contract be printed and be posted for them to view?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Jimmy. I know that several of our 514 members have the ability to email and make phone calls, and I'm just going to tell you, we've asked that question, and the latest answer that I've been given on when will the updated contracts be available to us, I would like to just say we've got enough of your membership dues that we can just go out and get them and make them available to you. But I also know that there's a little thing called print, and if you wanted it, you could go get it as soon as we can get it live on our website. So I'm told that, well, we just need signatures signed. We need signature pages signed, and it'll be ready. If you told me, Dale, I need your signature, I'd have wrote the damn thing down and you'd have had it. But I don't know. That's what I'm told. Waiting on signature pages. That the updated contracts, all of them, that information is completed, that project is completed, waiting on signature pages. Last time I checked, you could swing those around the internet and get some signatures on them and be done with it. But let me, Jimmy, Marta told me a sticky note. I used all mine already. I apologize. That's a question I can't answer. I can only give Jimmy the latest. Maybe that is the answer. Maybe somebody's got writer's cramp. I don't know. When will contract all right. Put that in the go ask pile. Anybody else, Marla?
Dan Heiter wanted to know, are the electricians being interviewed required to have a license?
Mm-hmm. Dan, I believe that, let's go look in our book. Are the electricians for facilities maintenance in the state of Oklahoma and Tulsa required to have the state license? So plant maintenance facilities, 36 months verified hands-on experience working as a journeyman, carpenter, electrician, electronic technician, HVAC technician, lock and key, millwright, painter, plumber, stationary engineer, welder, industrial waste treatment, applicable to the job test area assigned. And the job test area assigned in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as an electrician requires a state license. Every state is different, but so that's what that down there, applicable to the job test area assigned. You've got to have that license for that. And I haven't gone on in here to find out if it mentions it in another area or not, but I've got the Marla, can you give this to, I think Joe is down the hallway. Can you, this is a good read that Travis gave me. Can you have Joe look to see in the book and other areas where it talks about state licensing?
Kyle Bullard had a question.
Huh?
Kyle Bullard.
Yep.
With the travel industry picking up, has there been any word on staffing levels come September when the CARES Act ends?
What do you think he means staffing levels, like for where are we going to be at head count wise on the union side?
That's how I would interpret it. It's not real specific.
Kyle, if I can talk to I can talk a little bit to the head count here at the base. They've called everybody back that took the leaves. Some folks weren't happy about it, and some folks wanted to come back as soon as they took the leave and said, uh-oh, I shouldn't have done that. So they've called them all back because we're going to have here on this base enough steady work coming in and to keep us in the head count we have. Even if people leave, they'll have to replace them. And I know that there's engine volumes that's going to come back, and I know that there are AO opportunities, but obviously we're going to have to find a way to meet our turn times, find out what the problems are, and correct them. But I believe that our head count will stay the same or slow tick up, but That's just a whole bunch of conversations put together to give me my opinion. Was that, who was that asked that question about facilities electrician? Was that Hightower?
No, yes.
Dan, I want to go try to find more detail in the contract book about your question about the state license. I feel like the answer is yes, but I don't really have a good, other than what's in qualifications, place to point you to. Let me go see if I can come up with a better answer than that. Can I just pick one out from off of here?
Already on.
Jeff Burnett asked, and I don't know if I don't know how. Well, Jeff, you're asking why are crew chiefs considered on the same DAT list as crew when considering how many can take off? Are they?
So
I don't think they should be.
So it depends on the bid area.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in Article 23, paragraph I and A.
On whether or not they're in the ratio or
So
not.
it depends on how many weeks
Right.
vacation they have per that bid area. If it's a smaller bid area, and they don't have very many crew chiefs,
Then they're in.
Bid with the crew.
Jeff, is Jeff still in plating? Is that where he's at?
Yeah.
Plating?
Yeah.
So, and Jeff, in your area, Marla's right. So if you don't get above a certain number of weeks out of everybody that's in your shop, if the number of weeks don't add up to a certain number, then the crew chief is in that pile with everybody else. That's why that's happened to you. Chris, that's odd. Here's another Burnett. Oh, I'm just kidding. Chris says, any info on what's going to look like this year not having base shut down? So when the previous managing director was here, we were in 2020 and we were picking vacation, picking it for 2021 and what was base closure in 2021 going to look like. And he expressed to me that he said, go take as much of a challenge as you can to have it look like it did in the previous years, even though base closure was gone. So new guy comes into town and I think takes a look at that and asks questions. And it was like, hey, they picked it before you got here, so we just have to honor it. And that's just the way the whole thing fell out. So 2021, I believe they will honor the picks. They have to honor that. So that'll happen. And then if in certain areas they can afford to let more people off above what they call the allotment, then we always are pressing them hard for everyone to take the challenge, because without doing that, to me, you just have a disgruntled employee. But I don't think in 2022, I think in 2021, when we pick vacation, and they typically look at, hey, in the summer we want more airplanes because the way they schedule airplanes and the routes and the flying schedules, they go above the allotment. So if you do the math, 1 week off for every 40 weeks that go into the bucket, 1 week off, one person off for the 40 in the bucket, then they always go above that math in the summertime, or they did this year. say always, this is new to us. So they'll go above what the allotment numbers say. And when they got to base closure, they went above as well. So when we picked this year is it in October or November, Marla? Late October, November, vacation?
Vacation starts in late October.
Starts in late October.
They're supposed to, the contract's supposed to have it done by December 5th, correct?
Yeah.
December 1st. I'm sorry,
Yeah, there's a
December
date in
1st.
there that it's supposed to be done and posted in your area. So it's, I suspect, Chris, it's going to look drastically different. I think the week of base closure, unfortunately, is going to look like any other week. If you're in an area where when you get to pick your vacation, only 10 people get to pick a certain week, and maybe in the summertime they go up to 15, the rest of the year it's 10, then you're going to get to the week of December and it's going to be 10. So not happy about that. I'm gonna get on my bitch session right now. We was told to present a plan, some language that would satisfy the company's needs for base closure and still let this base have what they've traditionally had. And I don't know, can I use the middle finger, Al, on here? No, I can't. He said I can't use the middle finger, but I spent 3 days in Dallas with Jay Potter and some other people from other locations working on that, and the shit didn't even get presented in negotiations. So when I say I got a red ass about some things, that's one of them. Let's move on. Where are the bankruptcy grievances be paid? When are, I got my glasses on, but it's real small print. When are the bankruptcy grievances going to get paid? I went to a GRB meeting on June 23rd. Jonathan, the company's attorney, asked me if I had a second, and I said, yeah, and we had a sidebar conversation. He said, I'm going to send you an email. I want you to revise your list. We're going to try to make a payout from the unsecured creditors pool on around the first week of August. So we actually, Kendall and I, had some conversations about it, trying to figure it out. And he made a phone call to Ray Wilson, the VP, local VP here, that if you're part of this and you got an email or a letter, would have come from Ray. So Ray come in for a couple of days and we got to visit with him, and we kind of reviewed from start to finish on the bankruptcies, and we think we got it all sorted out, and we're hopeful that the company is going to come through with finally making a distribution. So I had one guy, I was told by Kendall, try to chew Kendall's ass out, mad at this local about where's his bankruptcy grievance. I can attest to the fact that this local, I was here, started with it, and I'm still here trying to end it. This local would have loved to have had it done in one day and been done with it. It is trying to go through a bankruptcy court in New York City to try to get you guys and gals grievances, rightfully so, paid, was a big pain in the behind. And this local, not one time, did anything to cause a delay in getting down to the point where you're going to get your settlement from this company. So thank you, Ray, and thank you, Kendall, and anybody that had a part on all of it. I mean, because it's not been pleasant, but I'm hopeful that the stock price goes up, and those of you that are going to get some shares will have something of value. Any updates on the TL with A&P students? So lots of conversations with the new VP about people at this base trying to advance their careers. I can appreciate that question, because that was me 33 years ago. I went to school to get my A&P ticket, and back then in 1987, the company wouldn't hire you into aircraft cleaning unless you were going to school to get your A&P ticket. I did that. I worked. It just so happened then that my time to start and the school time, I had 30 minutes to get here and get clocked in. Now we're running into where there's changes in shifts, or you can't hold a shift. The way that you bid your shift is impacting your ability to hold a shift while you go to school. So the new base VP, I won't say he's made a commitment, but we've had lots of conversations about it. I say lots. I've met him several times, and this is one of the things that we discuss. I feel like he wants to find a way that people can advance their career, because those of us that are getting gray right here won't be here forever, and we need the young guys and gals to have a way or an opportunity, a path to get in the door, do the jobs that don't require an A&P. But why wouldn't you want to take a person that's already a good employee and give them an opportunity, whether that be becoming an A&P, becoming a machinist, welder, an MSP, going on to be a facilities mechanic? That pathway is in the book right now, but we can't seem to agree on language with what's written to get folks to go into facilities mechanic jobs. So I feel like the new base VP will help and work with us to keep people that are currently in school, and the new hires coming on, encourage them to go to school and find a pathway for them to stay in school. I believe that, and I will work towards that end. Elijah Sherry, if I say the name correctly. Oh, Elijah. That's a good question. Can those of you, all of those of you reading the
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
reading the chats, look, sometimes we, the union reps that you guys elect, have more battles to fight for all of y'all with some individuals than other individuals. And that individual right now is, in my opinion, misinterpreting the contract. Several areas. Whether or not the company wants to keep the people they have in place or not, we don't control that, but we do have the right to file a grievance every time that contract book's gets violated, and that's what we'll do. And when we give reports, or when I maybe have to go to headquarters and say, why are you guys doing this? I mean, the grievance reports tell a big story. It either tells the company, hey, that guy is doing a great job because 50% of the whole grievances out of Tulsa, Oklahoma are from that person's department. Or it paints another picture. Red flag comes up. What the hell's going on over there that 50% of the grievances in Tulsa are from that guy's area? You see what I'm saying? So don't ever pass up an opportunity to help the company understand that we've got issues in an area. Don't, you get 5 days from when an event happened. So if you get an opportunity, hey, I don't know why you wouldn't file a grievance, and let's help that flag go up the pole. All right. I don't know where I'm at. I'm aimlessly.
So you are Richard Kroll.
Okay, I see that.
Why don't they let
Okay.
Quick Chiefs request demotion as per Article 35? What he's referring to is paragraph N. All orders to and request from an employee involving transfers, promotions, demotions, layoff, recall, leaves of absence, or anything affecting his pay will be in writing. So it's very vague. So it doesn't really say that they will grant you that. It says you can request it in writing if you're going to get a pay change, decrease. But the way for a crew chief right now is to bid an open position to a lower classification when it comes up on the bid board.
So in our old book, we had a window every year that we could self-demote, and that language didn't transfer over into this contract book. I don't have a lot of experience with what Marla just read on page 194 of the M&R book. All orders to and requests from an employee involving transfer, promotions, demotions, layoff, recall, leaves of absence, anything affecting his pay will be in writing. I mean, I would say maybe if it's an opportunity that you'd like to pursue, put it down in writing and submit it. Let's see what happens. But I don't know. I don't know 100% of how far reaching the interpretation of N can go. So I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna ask some more questions about it. Paragraph N, page 194, crew chief, demotion. All right. Can't speak on that one very well. I do know that a crew chief can bid into an AMT job, but it's not like it used to be. We lost the ability to use our basic classification seniority to move around. We got this Javits opinion that folks used as more than an opinion. They said that was a decision, but it was really just an opinion, and they went with it. My opinion personally was that they should went through and found everybody's basic classification seniority and use that. We would use that to compete against each of us, and that would have been fair. But that was a interesting conversation I had in Dallas one time with some fruitful language, and that probably wouldn't be appropriate for me to discuss it here on YouTube. But Al, can you get something and write my cell phone number down? Like a marks a lot here.
You want it for these guys?
Yeah, I just want it for a prop right now. Hang on.
You took my phone.
Oh, hang on. Hang on.
I'll just post it in the
I know.
notes of the guys.
I know.
No, that's not what you want.
I know. You think I got to write it backwards?
Please.
Let's see. I don't know if I have a forward-facing camera or not. So how does that look to you? Backwards?
We got a delay. It's perfect. You can stop now.
Yeah. So there's my phone number. I meant to have something that had that on it. Now we'll post it here. So if I talk about something and I say, that's all I'm going to say about that. I got lots of problems. Hell, I'll probably get charges out of this mess. Who knows? I don't know. Won't be the first, probably won't be the last, but I try to have less problems, not more problems. But so if I get rambling on about something that pisses me off, and then I say, well, I better just shut up and move on, feel free to call me. I'll give you my opinion about it. Okay. So Al, the ones that have the blue mark by a MARTA, that would be that you answered that one, right? Okay.
So Shakira was asking if we had a grandfather list of people are in school currently. I told her no, because it's not contractual that they adjust your shift for school.
Right. So
we do not have that. It's just by company grace that they're allowing them to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a so that's going to school. No, we don't have what I would call a demand right by language in the contract for it. Sometimes all we have is our personalities and our persuasion and the ability to ask them. And fortunately, in this situation, the company is also going to have a need to replace all of us gray hairs. So usually when it's something that they want to, it makes it easier for us to ask for it. And so we will continue to ask for that. Burnett says, thank you. Plating shop Midnight Crew still has no stores, even though parts must be moved. Y'all want to see what Linda looks like? Linda, come here. Can you come down the hallway? I know we're on a delay. She just hollered down the hallway coming. Come on in. You don't have to knock, or is it not open? I'm sorry. I did this for a reason. Thank you, Linda. I did this for a reason because what I really want to be able to do is have everybody available. So Linda, can you sit here?
Which one was that from, Jeff?
Hey, it's from Jeff.
Yep.
He's talking about the plating shop not having somebody to move parts.
Okay, so Jeff, I answered back a little bit on your question, and that is very serious and something we need to address. Bruce Wilkerson is at work right now, and he's going to talk to our management. We'll get that going because we do need your parts moved. So stay in touch with myself and Bruce, and we'll get this addressed and get you taken care of. So my number is 817-296-0725. And it's also online, so if you need it, stay in touch. But I'll be back in touch with you on this problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Linda, just leave that cracked in case I holler at you again.
All right.
All right. What else is on there? What's Jimmy Gurner? What he put in there?
He was answering Richard Kroll, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Dusty Armstrong, are the cleaners going to get upgraded to OSM, or is the company still requiring the 12 months of a mechanic experience? There were 18 bid open for OSM on Saturday, or is the AA hiring OSMs from the street?
That's a good question. So we're trying to get that answered. I mean, our guy, Mr. Peterson's position that he's been arguing is that if you were a cleaner prior to the date of ratification of the contract, 3/26/2021, then you fall in the bucket of the cleaner seniority, which we argued in negotiations that you would be able to go up and down as our old Title I seniority would allow. And then if you come in afterwards, then you start what you would start a cleaner seniority date. And then if you went into OSM, so you would start a new date there, and your time would, both your times would just travel from the date you started. But your question of they're not going to allow cleaners to go into OSM if they don't have, what's the book say? The hands-on 12, is it 12 months? Or I get it mixed up. I say 24 sometimes, and I say 12 sometimes. I'm just going to find it and read it so we'll know for sure.
So I had a couple of cleaners in the grievance office this week,
Yep.
and I recommend highly that they do put every past work experience that would be considered mechanical on their WER. And they do have to do a WER. Make sure they fill out that paperwork.
Hey, you got to come over here. I'm not going to be able to say all that, and that's worth not missing. And right here is OSM. So Marta's going to say something, but it's not answered. It's not answered whether or not they're going to allow those cleaners to upgrade to OSM. We've got grievances on it, and Mr. Peterson knows about it, and I suspect that in time, unfortunately, they're trying to fill these jobs. I'm hopeful they will hold these spots, but I'm not confident that they will. So that's an unanswered. I'm not able to answer that question. It's at a higher level than myself, so I'm hopeful that I just think it's unfortunate. You don't come into what I would say when I started was an entry-level job thinking that as a young person, you're not ever going to be able to advance. So the union wants people to be able to advance. Marta, come and say what you, pay attention, because I think it's important that you do what she's saying here.
Okay, what I was saying is I've been telling cleaners who have come to the grievance office that you do need to fill out a WER form. So no matter what, how minimal you think your mechanical experience is on any past job, fill out a WER. You do have to have documentation to prove you work there. So W-2s, do that research, call your company. If you can't find them, you can go to the irs.gov and they can pull up past tax forms, so you could get those W-2s. There are ways to get that. If you have military experience and you had mechanical duties in the military, guys, put that on there. Make sure you turn that in, though, because if you don't turn in a WER, they are not going to even look at your resume. I say resume, your bid. So make sure you put that detailed information in there for the company. The company, we no longer are part of the WER process. In the past, it was a joint effort between the union and the company, and we got together and reviewed the WER forms, but that is no longer the case. So I would put as much information, as detailed of information as you can to verify that you do have that mechanical experience, because they are right now requiring you have the 12 months mechanical experience.
And thank you, Marta. And I will add to that as an example. I wish I knew how to build houses, but I don't. But if you, as an example, worked with hand tools and power tools in any capacity, it says valid A and or P license or certificate of completion of equivalent from a relevant accredited trade school and 6 months relevant experience or 12 months of verified hands-on experience in a maintenance related field. So I have friends that are carpenters or work with on carpenter crews. You're using hand tools, saws, you're cutting boards, you're measuring. That's experience using hand tools in a production type capacity. So don't think that what you've done, if you're unsure whether to include it or not, please reach out to us. You know, yeah, did I mean Darren's on here? Yeah. Darren. Okay. What I don't want to do is start these Q&A. What I want to do is obviously do another one in another month and try to reach out to more people if they want to participate. What I don't want to do is ramble on when we may not have a lot of people participating still. So we've been going about an hour and a half or now. Huh? Yeah, we rolled through your lunch. So we're going to have another one at 2:45 a.m. And then I'm going to take the experience that we all get from these two, and then I'll apply another one to day shift. And obviously, hopefully, you guys are all and gals are all at work listening in, but you can get in on any of them. You know, I don't know that you'll be up at 2:45 a.m., but if you are, we'll have another one there. So I have this pile of things I need to go get answers for, and I'll do that. Probably won't have answers by 2:45 because I'm going to have to make some phone calls, but probably have more questions at 2:45 that I can't answer, and then we'll start trying to get those answers tomorrow.
Digest.
There's always a digest. Al said on Friday. Al, did we put enough information out there for this? You got to be a subscriber. you got to be a subscriber, Al says, to be able to chat. So hit the subscribe button, and if you hit the bell, I think that's the notification button, and you'll get that. If you have YouTube notifications turned on your phone, then you'll get that. So just want to say thank you for everyone for jumping on and participating. My number is 918-636-6089. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here and let y'all get back to what you're doing. We're going to get off here and talk about what we at least was good and bad about this, and what we need to fix or could improve upon. And I'll turn it back on at 2:45 a.m. And I got to be gone the last week of July. I got to go to Vegas for an international meeting. So the opportunity to try to have one of these for day shift is probably not going to be, it might be next week, but it might be the first week of August. So thank you guys and gals for participating. See you soon.